What it do, folks? This is the T-Bass and Shamar show. We are about to talk a little bit more about some football. We had a bunch of stuff happen this week. What's going on in the sports world? The Chargers got Harbaugh today.
Yeah, I saw that.
I was like, ooh.
In my division.
And I said this. I was like, ooh, that makes that division like.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. For the Raiders, you really gonna have to step up now because you got Andy Reid, you got Harbaugh, and you got Sean Payton sitting. 3 great coaches sitting all in your division. Not to say that Antonio Pierce won't be a great coach. I like the hire. I'm excited about it. But a new challenge.
I wish they would have gave Harbaugh a shot.
Who? The Raiders?
Because he
but remember,
would play Raider football.
Listen, I think, honestly speaking, I think this Antonio Pierce decision was made 2 decisions ago. We discussed it earlier in one of the segments where I was like, look, the Raiders are going to get into a situation with this Antonio Pierce thing that they may be locked into.
Yeah.
Because of the Basashi.
Yeah.
You know, we had the interim coach 2 years ago that we let go. People liked him. It was the same thing as Antonio Pierce, and then and then we brought in McDaniels the next season, and people were like, "Why didn't you go with the guy who got you to the playoffs? Why didn't you do this?" And so when Antonio Pierce did well, he did do well. I was like, the Raiders are almost kind of gonna have to make that decision. Not only that, he is a black quarterback too, and we know that that's an issue in the NFL. Like, why aren't qualified black candidates getting these coaching positions? So
a black coach.
Black coach.
Okay.
My bad. I'm sorry. I said black quarterback. We got plenty of those now. but yeah. So I kind of knew. I was like, well, even if it would have been very unpopular for Mark Davis to go in a different direction, no matter who it was, I think.
I'm not mad that they got Antonio Pierce. I can't say that I don't like the hire.
Right.
John had a shot at Harbaugh.
And it's one of those things, time will tell, right? It's one of those things, time will tell, So I like Antonio Pierce. I like that he reestablished our identity. That's super important. Because I don't think we really had an identity, to be honest with you. But I think it's defense again. And, we got to get the offense right. And it's going to be challenges for those guys next year. But, part of this show, too, is forget talking about our teams, because our teams are actually golfing right now. We actually just wanted to check in on the playoffs that's going on. We're in both championships, the AFC Championship and the NFC Championship. Now, in the NFC Championship, we have the 49ers playing against
the Lions.
Against the Detroit Lions.
Who you got?
I'm going Niners. I'm a Bay Area guy. I'm going Niners.
My brain says Niners should win. My heart is hating on the Niners for beating Philly.
Right.
I'll be pulling for the Lions.
Yeah.
But
okay, so you're pulling for the Lions.
If I was betting money, I would bet with
I think that's honestly speaking, dude, I think that's a safe bet. I mean, I gotta be honest with you. I'm not saying that the Niners are a shoe-in to win it. The Lions are a good team, and they can go in there and beat those guys. Jared Goff has already been in this situation before. So it could go either way. I mean, I said the same thing last week about Green Bay. I was like, the Niners better watch out, man, because these Packers, you just got to be careful. Certain organizations, they take a lot of pride in winning and stuff too. And guess what? The Packers made it a game. That did not surprise me at all.
And I have to say, thank you to Packer Nation for taking out the Dallas Cowboys. Much appreciated. Needed that.
Yeah, because you definitely didn't want to necessarily see Niners Cowboys, huh?
I didn't want to see Cowboys nothing.
Yeah, I know.
I don't want to see Cowboys.
Well, you
period.
expressed that on the last segment.
Like, I was so happy to see that happen.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, I'm like Stephen A. Smith.
Okay. Yeah, he's
me. I was like Stephen A. Well, I wish I had the cowboy hat.
Yeah, man.
I wish I had it. But okay, so
on the
other side of it is the Ravens and Chiefs, right?
Right.
We got. I got Ravens.
I'm going Ravens. I'm going Ravens only because I want to support Lamar Jackson. Like you said, like I told you before, there's not much about the Ravens that I like, and I'm just being totally honest about that. The Ravens are a good organization, though, man. They typically are defensive oriented, and but I'll say this. You're playing Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. These guys have been there 6 times in a row. So if you had to ask me who's actually the underdog in this game, I'd actually have to say that the Ravens are the underdog in this game. Even though, supposedly they have the better team. We'll see, bro. Like, you have to knock the champ out.
Yeah, and I think that's where it is you have to be the champ, you got to beat the champ.
You got to beat the champ.
I understand that coming from this point of the Chiefs would be the underdog if you weren't thinking about Vegas or anything like that.
Right.
Just thinking about the history and them winning Super Bowls and whatnot. I'm having Chief burnout.
Yeah, I got you.
I'm having Chief burnout in the same way that I had Golden State burnout.
Yeah.
And now that, if you notice, now that Golden State ain't winning a whole lot, I'm back on board. I love Golden State, man.
Well, here's what I'll say.
Winning too much.
Okay, so look, so you brought that up. Here's the funny part about the Golden State thing, right? It's like, where are the Golden State fans? All those Golden State fans. Remember how everywhere when you was driving through the city, how you just Golden State everywhere, right? And now, where are those fans? And that's the.
But that's the difference between your organizations that make a lot of money,
right,
and stay there,
right,
and organizations that make a lot of money and then over a space of time they dissipate. They kind of collapse.
I'm like I told you, I'm off Golden State. Golden State will always be my team. I'm from the Bay Area, grew up in Oakland. I grew up watching these guys. I mean, I watched Rick Barry. I watched Rick Barry. I go that far back with the Golden State Warriors, so they'll always be my squad. But I can't lie to you, man. Like, the way they came in this year and the stuff that they've been dealing with as a team, a lot of that foolishness going on, it turned me off. Like, because I felt like mentally you should have known that, hey man, this is probably like the last run with this particular core, and you should have been focused.
They've waited too long to make the switch.
Yeah.
They should have, if it wasn't this year, it should have been last year. But
right.
They should.
Well, last year we made the playoffs, right? And then we got beat by who put us out? The Lakers.
But
okay.
That was the time where you could have got the most out of Draymond Green,
right?
That you can at this point,
right?
You could have got something out of Klay Thompson, and you probably could have got younger and put yourself in a position for the future.
Yeah.
But I get what Golden State seems like they're doing is, well, no, we want to do it the right way. We want Green to retire. We want, Thompson to retire.
I mean, they want to do them right. They want to do them right. We have 2 totally different perspectives on that, because a lot of times I feel like the Lakers don't do their players right.
Well, that's the reason why they win chips.
Yeah, and I got that part. So you really have to just that's an organizational approach thing. I say. Yeah, man. I mean, these guys basically revitalized your team. I mean, they revitalized the brand. I mean, the brand was dead before the Steph Curry era. The brand was kind of just dead in the water. You guys come in, everything is new, it's exciting, and that's cool. So I think you got to, but you always need to be thinking about the future. I mean, because what's going to happen to Curry, bro? Like, I mean, I think Clay is kind of moving out of the conversation because it seems like to me Curry is really going to be the guy who this all centers around again. And Draymond, I'd be surprised if Draymond was a Warrior next year, but then again, you never know. I mean, I'm not a GM also. Like these guys, sometimes they say, okay, that was a bad stretch or bad, and they keep it pushing.
Right.
So,
Sorry, we kind of got off topic. Back to football real quick.
It's all good.
I'll tell you the reason why. It's the same reason that you said about Baltimore. The way Lamar Jackson went out and said, no, I'm going to be my own agent, or have my mom be my agent. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to do things the way that they typically normally do it. The part that really kind of got under my skin was that when he did this and said, you know what, trade me. And then all the rest of the teams more or less blackballed him.
Right.
More or less said, well, we don't want him.
Right.
And so no team stepped up and asked for him. No team stepped up and gave him a deal. And to me, that is whack. That's terrible. And what he's doing now is saying, I'll show you.
Right.
And so now if he does get, so far he's got to AFC Championship. So that right there is already shown that, well, you guys may have missed.
You may have missed an opportunity.
If they get to the Super Bowl and win, you've certainly missed
an opportunity. But you know what, though? Some of that didn't have to do with the fact that they actually weren't interested in Lamar Jackson. Remember, it was the Deshaun Watson contract that kind of made all the teams kind of pause on how are we going to actually deal with quarterbacks now, because now we got this one quarterback in the Cleveland Browns who set this pay scale thing and like, okay, so are we going to actually pay? And remember, so when you talk about the top guys, right, the top guys always have to kind of be in the same pay scale. So Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson, these guys are making $50-something million a year. So I think that unfortunately for the Ravens, they kind of got stuck. Because remember, nobody was making moves on quarterback contracts at that time. They were like, damn, how do we deal with this? Like we got this industry standard that's being set. Are we going to meet the standard? We don't want to lowball a guy, but then we also don't necessarily want to pay a guy too much, especially a guy who's got maybe some health injuries, so some health issues. So I mean, that's what I think.
I think what gave teams pause was his health history.
Right.
That part right there is understandable.
Yeah.
The money part, no, you didn't have a problem with giving Herbert his money. You didn't have a problem with giving old boy in Cincinnati his money. You didn't have a problem with it. You dished it out super fast. No problem, quick fast.
Yeah.
I think. And then to make it worse, there were quarterback needy teams.
Right.
You take someone like as old as Aaron Rodgers, and maybe he can play. He gets injured. How much you want to bet an injured Aaron Rodgers injured right now? Right. If he said he wanted to be traded, there'll be a lot of people with their hands up.
Right.
An old injured Aaron Rodgers, their hands would be up. No.
But the key is, but you said a key word in there, the old, and which means that Aaron Rodgers has this body of work, right? So Aaron Rodgers has this body of work, and
what body of work is that? Other than winning one Super Bowl, 13 years ago, 13 years ago.
Yeah, that's true. But then he's consistently got the Packers to the playoffs, right? Like,
and I would venture to say when Lamar Jackson is healthy, his team,
his
record is impeccable.
So my only point is that Lamar Jackson's been in the league how many years? This is his fourth,
fifth.
So it's a very small body of work, and the only point, and I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying the only point is that sometimes with these guys they're hot and then they're not. I'm sure that as an NFL scout and an analyst and all this stuff, you can say, well, this guy is never going to be a hot and not guy. He's going to be a hot guy. But you do get into those situations. So what if you buy into hot? You pay him, and we see teams doing this all the time, overpaying the guy, and then he's not, and you're like, oh shit, now we stuck with this big contract.
I feel that they blackballed him. I feel they.
No, I definitely feel they blackballed him.
And because they blackballed him,
right?
If he goes to the Super Bowl,
right?
Well, I'm absolutely cheering for him.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you didn't have faith in him, and those teams that skipped up on him,
right?
All y'all looking silly, especially the ones that needed a quarterback, like your Washington Redskins of the world,
right?
You guys could have took Lamar Jackson. You needed a Lamar Jackson, you didn't take it.
Or the Raiders.
The Raiders of the world. Right. You guys could have took Lamar Jackson, and he would have been perfect. He would have been a perfect Raider.
Yeah. Oh no doubt about it.
No doubt about it. Turn him all the way around.
All the way around.
All the way around.
All the way around.
And so,
but like I said, there's two issues. Okay, so let's talk about the Raiders making that move. We got two issues here. No, we got three issues here. I'm gonna add an issue. We typically make horrible business decisions when it comes to money. Number one, first top of the issue. Second, oh God, we gotta pay this guy how much money? Because, like I said, the Deshaun Watson thing set the precedent. It's pushed it over $200 million in these contracts, right? So you're like, oh shit, am I gonna? And then so like I said, it can sometimes you gotta miss that. We may have missed the gravy train with Harbaugh, right? Like we'll see next year. I will say this. I hate to have him sitting there in our division, and I'm like, dang, now you gotta coach against this guy. You gotta coach against this guy and beat this guy. So I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I'd like to finish second or first next year in the division. That's extremely tough now.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, right. Well, so we finished second in the division this year, barely by one game because we had to beat Denver, and that's not saying much at all. But in order for the Raiders, for the silver and black to get back to where they need to be, you got to win the division, man.
You know, I think all that's determined upon how good Kansas City does next year.
Right.
Where are they? Do they get better?
Right.
Or do they get worse?
And listen, not just Kansas City, because now you have to worry about the Chargers because Harbaugh is not going there to lose. He's got a point to prove. His goal is Super Bowl because that's one of the only things he doesn't have on his resume. And the Chargers traditionally are a tough team. We're rivals with everybody in our division. Everybody in our division is a rival, like a big rival.
Right.
So you know.
I think that the Chargers already have a decent team.
Mm-hmm. Right.
They're not starting from the bottom of the barrel.
No, exactly.
They've already got some pieces in place.
They got
and a quarterback.
Right.
Harbaugh, man, he stepped into a good position.
Man, very good.
So you got the 49ers.
So
the Ravens going to the Super Bowl.
I'm going 49ers and Ravens. And I'm going Ravens to win it all. I'm gonna go Ravens to win it all.
I'm going Ravens to win it all. But I don't want to go against what I said, and I'm just gonna be a hater. I'm going with Lions.
You're going Lions. No,
Ravens, Lions, Super Bowl.
You're going Ravens, Lions.
And I'm saying that more from a half heart, but
no, great. Those are our picks, right? Okay, so what does the NFL want? Let me get your opinion on that.
Oh, they want 49ers and the Ravens.
I don't think so.
Oh no, 49ers Chiefs.
They want 49ers Chiefs.
Well, no. I would think that would. I don't think when you say NFL. I would be willing to believe that if you started to ask NFL execs, NFL coaches, NFL people, that would be kind of split. Because the Ravens are the top seeded team and have been that way.
Ratings. Super Bowl is ratings, right?
Well, what I would think that they would want to see is a rematch between the Ravens and the Niners because the Ravens destroyed them so badly last time.
That's true.
And knowing that those two teams, because the Ravens are pretty much been the number one team for a while.
I think Taylor Swift trumps all of that.
I think she can. That's why I said now there's another half of the NFL that would say the Chiefs because they're like the darlings of the NFL at the moment.
Right.
So I don't think that's. I think it's kind of split down the board. But I know most people would say Niners. Not a lot of people want to say.
Well, you know what?
The Lions in the Super Bowl. That's the Lions.
And I got to be honest with you, bro. I do think that the Chiefs do bring something, and football fans and real pure football fans, they're annoyed at this whole Taylor Swift thing, and this weekend I kind of was, we was having NFL talk, and one of my homegirls, so she's a Taylor Swift fan, and she did a Taylor Swift Chiefs t-shirt, so it said Chiefs on the front, and then it had Swift on the back and number 13. And so then I asked her, I says, well, why number 13? And she's like, oh, that's Taylor Swift's favorite number. I says, okay, I got it. So I hit the group up and I was like, hey, Hen, where's the Chiefs bar? My homegirl got some t-shirts, let's send her over to the Chiefs bar. So I do think that all of that brings a different dynamic. Mm-hmm. And like for football purists, it could be annoying. They're like, well, every time they score, Travis Kelce scores a touchdown or whatever, why are you panning up? But I think that all makes it fun, right? So that's why I was just saying that. What does the NFL want to see?
The NFL, and once again, I think that's split down the middle because there's a lot of people in the NFL who hate the fact that every time they show a touchdown, you're showing Taylor Swift, because then it turns into, okay, so how is that football?
Right.
Like, what does that have to do about football?
Well, they did the same thing with Tom Brady, right? When Tom Brady was up there, and they would always show his wife,
and it got on a lot of people's nerves that you would do that. I was like, what
stand by your man.
Right. What does that got to do with football? Come on now, is this Hollywood or is it the NFL?
I actually like the fact that Jason Kelce was up in there partying with his shirt off, and I was like, "That is so awesome, dude!" That he's like
support his brother.
He's supporting his brother.
How those two brothers support each other.
He's supporting his brother. He's like, "I'm in retirement now. Right now, I would, if we had won, I would be having to worry about game plans. But right now, I got a beer in my hand and my shirt off, and I'm up here partying."
And I could just as easily see Travis Kelce doing the exact same thing in Philadelphia, say if they were out and Philadelphia was in. They really do support each other.
Hey, bro.
That's pretty cool.
So speaking of Philly, what's your coach's name?
Nick Sirianni.
Sirianni, man, he didn't say some other stuff that got people kind of up. So
did I miss something?
You did miss something.
What did he say?
He said he had some press conference or something.
I started to watch the press conference, but I didn't see
it. And they said, I don't know, Nick Sirianni's kind of saying some stuff where he may be in. So remember, he was in the hot seat.
He's still in the hot seat.
Look. And then he was off the hot seat because he's like, okay, I'm coming back. But now he's kind of put himself back on the hot seat.
He ain't never been off the hot seat.
Okay, so he's still on the hot seat.
The fact that they hired him again put him right back on the hot seat.
Well, and guess what?
Why did they hire this fool back again?
And guess what? So I think they said that now the your GM is going to he's going to actually pick the supporting cast from the head coach.
I'm not opposed to that.
Okay.
The only thing that I'm opposed to is picking anybody from the same tree of these two previous coaches. Okay. So whoever the offensive coordinator is, depending on, I don't even know what, not the offense, let's say, no, the defense. Mm-hmm. Whoever that defensive coordinator is, whatever tree he comes from, I don't want that defense.
Okay.
Gotcha. I don't want it. I don't care who it is. And
your offensive tree, right? Because you were kind of like, what's going on with the offense?
Well,
what are we doing here?
I didn't know about Johnson because Sirianni's really making a lot of these calls. He even said it's my offense.
Okay.
This wasn't Johnson's offense. This is my offense. He just makes the calls.
Okay.
The problem that I have with management is it sounds like they're going to let him continue with that whack offense.
Okay.
I'm hoping that they get an offensive coordinator that brings his own offense into there and scraps Sirianni's offense.
Right. Got you.
Because, quite simply, it sucks.
Nah, man, I hear you, bro. Like, yeah.
It has no movement. You're not doing any motion. You're pretty much sitting in one spot.
Mm.
It's too many shotgun formations. You don't get up under the center. Jalen Hurts, through his first pass under center in week 15, 14 or something like that. What?
Yeah.
Like that's crazy. That's like, what are you talking about? How is that happening?
Yeah.
And so I don't think he's a terrible coach.
Yeah.
But they did need to strip away all of the coordinator, everybody he picked.
Right. Well, you said that you would like fire all of them.
I would have fired Sirianni and went
fire the
after
whole
Harbaugh.
staff. Fire the whole staff.
I would have fired Sirianni and went after Harbaugh.
Okay.
But it's quite possible that Jeffrey Lurie, which is the owner, he may not like Harbaugh.
I mean, I got it.
He may not, because if I'm correct, he don't really like.
Or maybe Harbaugh didn't like them. Like sometimes this stuff is a two-way street, right?
I don't know, but I'm the fact that Jeffrey Lurie is not a big fan of Belichick or the Patriots or Kraft,
right?
And probably the reason being is because they cheated,
right?
So wouldn't be overly shocked if he's not a Harbaugh fan because of all of this stuff that's happened throughout his career.
Yeah.
They seem to be Sirianni's fan, and Sirianni seems like a decent coach. The Eagles players love him.
Okay.
They love him as a coach.
Okay.
So if the players love him, then he must be doing something right.
Right. Well, the players did love him. Last year they loved him, but then I heard that this year, the players were there was some dissension there.
There was some doubt.
There was some dissension there.
The main person that there was doubt from was the person that you can't have doubt from. Hurts.
Okay.
So Hurts wasn't happy about basically the offense and the direction that it was going.
Yeah.
Hurts wanted the offense to go in a different direction. I know what Hurts wants. He wants a run-heavy offense where he's running, the running backs is running, which will open up the pass.
Right.
And instead, you did some pass-heavy offense,
right?
Which, I mean, they didn't run that much less than they did the year before. I think what it is that they didn't take opportunistic runs at the right time.
Okay, got you.
So last year they ran at the right time.
Yeah.
This year you ran, but some of your running wasn't. When you were supposed to be passing, you were running. When you were supposed to be running, you were passing. Like that type of situation.
I get it, bro. Like I told you, my frustration with the Raiders this past years, I was like, dude, do we know how to even utilize? I hated our playbook. It was way too simple for me.
Terrible.
It was way too simple for me, and I was like, you guys don't really know how to utilize your weapons. I mean, you got this receiving core. And yeah, I was just like, what are we doing here? For a while there, for about 6 games, we didn't even attack the middle of the field. I was like, why don't you guys send people, like, you got a tight end. Well, the tight end was young. I get it. He's a rookie. But send some guys over the middle, man. And they finally start doing that kind of stuff. And guess what? Then the offense looked way more dynamic. And also I was like, look, I know that you guys got Devontae Adams. That's great. But so whenever Devontae had a big day, typically, and then you can go back and research, fact check me on this, but typically, if Devontae had a huge day, we lost. If the offense was more spread out, we won. So I was like, bro, you got to get everybody involved. Then you're more dangerous. Then you can really take advantage of Devontae Adams' skills. But if you just key on him, so I totally get what you're saying. Your frustration with the offense, dude.
That sounds a lot like back in the day when the Packers had Sterling Sharp, and not Shannon Sharp.
Sterling Sharp.
Right. And he was like their main receiver, and they overused him. And then when he finally retired, and they spread the ball out, the team seemed to have played better. It's like, well, you probably had the same team. You just
right.
You were
too one-dimensional.
Too one-dimensional. And that, you know, that kind of reminds me of that.
Yeah.
I think the Raiders next year, if they run, and I don't know what people may think. I know it's a passing league. I get it.
Right.
But running is what wins you championships. Running and defense, you got to
Right.
have those things. You
Right.
can't just pass all day.
Right.
Teams eventually catch up to that.
Right.
Which is the reason why I think if you get a Ravens 49ers game and they're dinking and dunking, trying to throw 3-yard passes and run 15-yard runs,
Right.
I don't think they're going to win that way against a team like the Ravens.
Right. With that defense.
And they may not beat the Lions that way. We'll see.
Yeah.
And with Debo is 50-50 is what they say.
Right.
To me, that means he's hurt.
Right.
So to me, that means what you're going to do is toss him in the game because
Right.
he says he's good. You got to feel
Right.
he's good.
Right.
He runs a few plays, last 2 quarters, and then
Yeah.
probably fades out. Better hope that you have a big lead by that point.
Yeah, well, you know, so we're AFC, we're both on the same page. We're both going Ravens. NFC, we're split. I'm going Niners.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Lions.
And you're
I'm
going Lions.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna hold back. I'm going Lions simply out of hateration.
Hateration, okay.
Hateration.
So you just can't see the Niners.
I just don't want to see that.
I
I can see. Perfect. I got the vision.
Right.
I just don't care about the vision. I'm going with the hateration mode.
Right. No, so that's it. We just wanted to talk about it. That's where we're at. So we got split Super Bowl. So I'm going Niners, Ravens Super Bowl. You're going Ravens, Lions Super Bowl.
But at the end of
the day, we're both on the same
Ravens.
team. We're both saying that we think that the Ravens will
Should win
take
it all.
this.
Should win it
make
all.
this up. There it is.
So then we'll reconvene in either a week or two, however long that may be, and
Well, you know what? Probably after the Super Bowl, right? Let's see how this plays out, and then we can talk about it.
Yes, sir.
We can talk about it.
So that would be the motto. Don't talk about it.
Be about it.
Be about it.
Yeah.